Performing Gaming 420.
Nothing can compare to who could have been.
Richard Spencer. Just because you like a Harambe meme doesn't mean that you are a white nationalist. Okay. As far as how much did it affect the election, look, I think that a lot of young people felt mobilized. They thought it was funny, and that's great. That's great. You know, do I think that they should probably read a little bit beyond, you know, the memes of SpongeBob? Probably. You know, I don't think that that is a complete political education. So, that, you know, I think that maybe look at like, how about this? For every 100 memes of SpongeBob and the weird pigeon from Facebook that you look at, you read 10 pages of John Locke. Is that a deal? If we can do that, then I'm for the memes.
Thank you.
Hi, Ben. So my question is a bit of an intro, but I'll get to the question ASAP.
Thank you.
Okay. First off, I want to say that I'm a Catholic libertarian who couldn't even justify voting for Gary Johnson, so I voted for Harambe. and that even though I disagree with you on several key issues, mainly foreign policy, I listen to your podcast regularly because you use logic and reason.
Thank you.
And anyway, I'm not quite sure what your position on the military draft is, but I wanted to pitch my more voluntarist alternative to see to what I see as a form of slavery and get your take on it. I propose that during a major war, instead of forcing people to serve in the military against their will, that we increase the pay of soldiers to the point that we need to. Basic economics suggests that the more money we are willing to pay for a service, the larger the supply of labor willing to perform said service will be. Therefore, people will have more of an incentive to voluntarily join the military as opposed to forcing them via coercion. I'm against increasing budget deficits, but as a libertarian, I see it as a more humane and moral alternative to forcing people to serve through the hellfire battle against their will. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think that's a terrible idea at all. I mean, we blow out the budget anyway during a war. Yeah, exactly. So, first of all, I don't think that's going to be necessary. I think that the United States military is fully capable of defeating any military on planet Earth within the space of about 2 months. I think. I mean, people forget this. People forget this because of the insurgency that came afterward. But Saddam Hussein's military was the 4th largest on planet Earth, and he was done in 3 weeks. I mean, the United States military is the greatest war machine that has ever been constructed anywhere in history, even comparatively. I mean, it makes the Roman Empire look like a backwater. The military is an unbelievable institution. So, you know, but if it were to come to it, the idea that the government would pay people rather than coercing them into a draft, yeah, I don't see a huge problem with that at all.
Yeah, I just want to take it off the table as an option, I guess. And then also, at some point, I would love to see a three-way debate between you, a competent libertarian, namely Tom Woods, someone I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, a competent leftist, maybe Sam Sater. But I think that'd make for a really interesting debate.
I'd be more than happy to debate people. As you know, I sort of like it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Hey Ben, big fan. I had 2 quick questions. Number one, I think it was Federalist 78 where Alexander Hamilton said the judiciary was the weakest branch and that he...
The least dangerous branch.
Least dangerous
quote,
because
yeah.
they didn't have a mechanism to enforce their decisions.
Right, yes.
So given that with the...
they have neither power nor will. Yeah.
Upholding of the stay of the Ninth Circuit Court, are there any, I suppose, political or constitutional ramifications if... I don't even like Donald Trump, but if
Trump were to say screw it, and just go ahead and enforce it.
I mean, because I think everyone agrees it's a little silly. So, I mean, if...
So I think that as a last resort, the President of the United States creating what's a supposed constitutional crisis is not the end of the world. The Constitution is actually built for this. So, believe it or not, I wrote my 3rd-year thesis at Harvard Law School on exactly this topic. And I wrote it about the idea that judicial review is never actually mentioned by the Constitution, which it isn't. The idea that the judiciary gets to be the sole enforcer of what the Constitution means is not in the Constitution. That's what Marshall versus Madison, the Marbury versus Madison was all about. I think there's a very strong case Marbury versus Madison was wrongly decided and was actually a judicial power grab. That said, if the judiciary makes a decision that is unconstitutional, there are ways to fight back against the judiciary, including the Congress cutting its jurisdiction. Right, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is established by the Congress of the United States. If the Congress of the United States wants to cut its jurisdiction or split it in half or add judges or do whatever it wants, it can. So the Constitution actually has mechanisms by which you can curb the power of overreaching courts. And again, we've had situations in American history, Andrew Jackson most famously, where you've had presidents who have basically said to the court,